Trump and apos. S attack on socialism is no help to capitalism. Chicago Tribune. Socialism has always been a tough sell in the United States. While socialist, but the outlook has brightened lately, as demonstrated by the electoral achievements of, who won 23 primaries and caucuses in the 2016 Democratic presidential campaign, and, elected to Congress last year. Both wear the label. Now, though, socialists have gotten a boost from an even more prominent politician. We are alarmed by capitalism deserves better defenders than this. It has been it has fostered personal freedom, broken down oppressive traditions and aided in the spread of democracy. Even Europeans, given Trump's low standing among voters, particularly young ones, his attack on socialism amounts to a huge gift to the left. For fans of Democrats have grown more liberal, but that shift is not because they have been gorging on Karl Marx. It's partly because some social problems have gone unsolved by those leaders who defend free market capitalism. And it's partly, you could denounce public roads and bridges, state universities, community hospitals, and national parks as socialism. But the question, Barack Obama proposed a health care overhaul based on a plan once championed by the conservative Heritage Foundation. It relied heavily, in fact, it was a classic specimen of welfare state capitalism, trying to regulate private markets for social purposes. No true socialist. It would be easier to argue that for all amounts to a dangerous socialist scheme. But the same claim, somehow most Americans don't feel enslaved by a program that ensures health care for the elderly. Will Wilkinson, he's right. In the latest, conservatives depict any expansion of government as a step on the path toward socialist dystopia. But they also disparage the importance of providing reliable help to people who are in dire need for reasons largely beyond their control, whose numbers exceed the ability of private charity to help. Government program. To warn of the onslaught of socialism in response to any proposed government initiative is to expose your intellectual bankruptcy. The better approach is, if the best argument you make against a policy idea is that it's socialist, you shouldn't bother. You've already lost. Steve Chapman, a member of the Tribune editorial board, blogs at Twitter at From subtle policy points to fighting words, our opinions are a click away. And get 4 weeks. Socialism has always been a tough sell in the United States. While socialist
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up.